Hi folks, welcome to Cream City Miniatures. I'm Christopher. This channel is going to focus on the narrative of miniature games, the stories, the campaigns, and all that follows. So our first game we're going to focus on is Ragnarok. Okay, so get ready for the explanation of Ragnarok, the miniatures game.
The world of Ragnarok. For a time untold, Yggdrasil, the world tree, stood tall, holding the 9 realms of existence within its great branches and roots. Each realm was its own separate world, held apart by the tree. Yggdrasil held within it all the power of existence, and each realm held a fraction of that power. Midgard balanced any excess power that spilled forth from the realms. Here, mortals were created, and they thrived. While Midgard itself was a place of harmony between the ancient powers, it was not without its own turmoil. From the ashes of ancient mortals rose a warrior stock so mighty that legends speak of their ability to rival the gods themselves. These mortals were called Vikings. Viking culture was built on the back of hardship and glory. Vikings were constantly at war with their neighbors or hunting the beasts of the dark forest without ever fearing the absolution of death. They feared no man or beast because facing such rivals earned them fame and made them worthy enough to catch the gaze of Odin, king of Aesir. If Odin deemed them worthy, Valkyries would carry any Vikings who fell in combat to Asgard to join him in the great halls of Valhalla, a divine home for legendary warriors. Here, these chosen warriors would train for eternity to prepare for the great war that would end the Aesir. But the great war never came to pass. Deep within the great roots of Yggdrasil, the ancient dragon known as Nidhogger, the Malice Striker, was confined. Nidhogger was a chaotic and primordial being that fought against its prison with tooth and claw. Each time Nidhogger severed an earthen bond, Yggdrasil grew an even stronger one in its place. Even the fates were blind to Nidhogger's schemes when it finally broke free and toppled the World Tree, causing the realms to come crashing together in the event known as the Shattering. As the great realm of Asgard existed at Yggdrasil's very heights, it fell the farthest of all the realms upon the collapse. And the gods who lived there, the Aesir, died on impact, their spirits shattering along with the realm itself. All who survived the collapse immediately felt the divine loss of those who once watched over the mortals of Midgard. With the shattering's sudden and violent conclusion, Midgard and the surrounding realms were thrust into utter turmoil, experiencing the influence of the unchecked divine. Infernal and primordial intrusions across the landscape brought with it a whole new struggle to survive that mortals had only heard about in the tall tales told in long houses across the lands. Giants and the oath-breaking dead poured forth from the realms in equal measure, carving a path of gore and destruction across Midgard and claiming countless settlements and kingdoms. Rivers froze beneath the winds of Niflheim as quickly as the infernos of Muspelheim set forests ablaze. All the turmoil caused the Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, to stir and thrash in the depths of the oceans, flooding many coastal raiding villages. The peaceful balance Midgard once held was gone in a thunderclap. The scattered Viking clans that survived the Shattering went from glory-seeking raiders and conquerors to scavengers doing whatever they could to survive. Without Valhalla as a prize for a glorious death, the idea of risking life and limb to be remembered in the tales of legends became a forgotten tradition of the once proud warrior culture. All is not lost, however. Floating about the realms is the spiritual essence of the Aesir, known as Godspark. This energy is drawn to warriors who rise to face the opposition placed before them, imbuing them with small bursts of godlike power. The power itself is fleeting at first, but over time, warriors scattered throughout the land begin to rise in name and glory, harnessing additional Godspark, bathing themselves in the energy of the falling Aesir, and becoming the new legends of the fractured realms. The lands of mortals in Midgard have gone without gods to set things right in the realms for long enough. It is time for new gods to rise and claim their place in legend.
Okay, folks, with that read, Tim has a designer's note here in the beginning, which I think really sums up what the game should be, and I just wanted to get this to read and in the video as well. So his note is, the world of Ragnarok does not follow the traditional Viking legends we all know and love. This world embraces the fantastic what-ifs of the Viking apocalypse, cranks up the volume, sets things on fire, and grabs an even bigger axe. Ragnarok is a world of non-stop action and destruction. Not only do you get to choose which instruments of destruction your warriors use to sow carnage, but the environment itself wants an equal piece of your warriors. Therefore, terrain is weaponized in Ragnarok. Combat consists of more than just swinging steel at your enemies, throwing them off parapets and cliffs, smashing their skulls into trees, and kicking them into sharp pikes allows you to dispose of them just as easily as using a weapon. The battles in which your war clans take place are over the top and epic. Ragnarok's design embraces the rule of cool. Whether you slaughter your opponent's forces or receive a savage beatdown with enormous weapons, the statement, "That was awesome," should be prevalent at the gaming table. Alright, so let's look at creating your war clan. Each war clan starts with 800 glory, so that's used to purchase warriors and equip them with weapons, armor, and gear. So, the 7 types of warriors you're going to have to choose from is, you have to choose a Jarl. Jarl is your leader. Then you have a Bondi, a Huskarl, a Berserker, a Skald, Gothy, and a Spider. So now your starting war clan must have 7 models. So your Jarl plus 6 additional warriors, but may have a maximum of 12. So as you go through a campaign, you'll be adding models, you'll be changing equipment, changing weapons, and possibly getting up to that max of 12 models. But to start, you have to stay at 800 glory. Alright folks, now let's look at a card. For ease, I'm going to use a card that I designed for the game to use, and you can find this card on the Facebook page of Ragnarok in the files section. So first off, we're going to look at the first stat, action points. These is basically the maximum number of actions a model can take during its activation, which is typically 2. They can use these to move, attack, interact with objectives, and activate abilities. The next one's going to be health points. This is how much damage the model can take before it's removed from play. Typically, when a model reaches 0, it's removed from play. Next up is speed. The number of inches a model may move per AP spent on movement. Next is going to be MA, melee attack, the stat used to attack models in close combat. Next up, ranged attack. This is used to attack models outside of MA reach. Defense, the stat that determines how difficult it is to hit this model. Resilience, this stat determines how difficult it is to damage this model. DR, the stat that represents the model's determination, called drive, and is commonly used for melee clash. Next is the mind stat. This stat is commonly used for magic, psi, and mind-based attacks. MN acts as RS against mind-based attacks. Okay, and that's it for now. So you'll see when you choose a fighter or warrior, like a Jarl, you're going to see glory points populate in this card that I'm showing here in the video. The glory points will populate of the cost of that warrior. Now, once you add weapons, armor, and whatever else you'd like, those points will go up. All those points will count towards your 800 starting for your war clan. And that's it. Our next video is going to be Ryan and I playing through our first campaign game, and I hope to see you there. All right, folks, that's it. Thank you for watching, and remember, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll be back in our next video of the first playthrough of Ragnarok.